Hello everyone, and welcome back to the next showcase video in our series. And you are about to enter the world of Dungeon Crusade with me, Roger, Groovis Games Unlimited. Hello everyone. Wow, it's been a while, hasn't it? Well, not really, but for making one of these videos, and I first have to apologize for my delay getting back here. Whoops. It was really busy, guys, for the last, well, for many weeks, but in particular these last few weeks. But as always, I am really happy to be back here with you. An exciting video today, and I'm just amped up. Holidays are coming up. Finally, the game will be printing. Yes, I do have my trusty pen. But most importantly, thank you for your time. Thank you for your interest. And I hope you guys are doing good. I hope you're staying safe and excited about if you celebrate Thanksgiving. That is coming up in just, well, next week here. Next week it's coming up. Looking forward to hanging out with the family and making videos. And I just hope you all are doing good. Looking forward to the holiday season. Okay, let's get into this right away. Okay, I wanted to do a little camera shift for you so it's not too boring, and I do have a list of stuff I'd like to go over real quick and leading up into the video, because I haven't talked to you guys, like, or at least in this format. Right off the bat, the pledge manager will definitely be closing, as I tap my pen like this. So there's no definitive date, but it will be in December. I've been talking to our amazing production engineer at the manufacturer, the excellent Wingo Games. So we have been conversing. They're getting stuff lined up for printing. We'll be putting out a fair warning, but this is definitely it, guys. They are ready to print the game, and we're so thankful to them. And like I've said many times, they were busy with other projects, other games. We had to kind of wait our turn in line to use that massive printing machine, but it is time. Early December, I would say maybe mid-December, but I'm thinking it's more early December. But I will keep you posted. The manufacturer will let me know, so we're playing it by ear. But if you're thinking of pledging, late pledging, or just, adding some add-ons, do take a look at that. But again, no rush, no worries. Don't want to pressure you into anything. I want to say that. Let's move the camera real quick. And as I moved the camera, I have to show you our special guest who's just kind of like sitting here listening. It is Caesar. Hello, Caesar. Are you liking listening to Dungeon Crusade? You're waiting for some more bones, huh? I've been giving him milk bones. So we have a little audience here. Anyway, I thought you'd like to say hello to Caesar. We shifted the camera. We're going to be talking about this today, the combat chart for our revised combat. But before that, over here at our Dungeon UI board, we're going to be starting up the promotions this week, letting people know all the hard work we put into the game, revised rulebook, the new Solo Crusader mode, all of that stuff, the balances, the tweaks. So you're going to be seeing a lot of that. We're going to take out some ads and just, chat with some people in the various game groups and let them know, hey, we're going to print. You might want to take a look at this. So stay tuned for some promotions that'll be coming up. And on a lighter note, I went it was a few days ago. I bought a new mic, and I just used the microphone on this camera I'm using. So this thing was only like 35 bucks, but it's got really good reviews, and it just plugs into the charging port and you clip it on. It's like a condenser mic, and I think you'll hear a nice difference in audio quality in this format when we do this. So I'm excited to get this new mic for you. 35 bucks, doesn't break the bank, and it had good reviews. I'll have to show it to you when I get it. So I wanted to say that. Okay, let's go back on top. Let's discuss today's video. And again, I'm just so happy and amped up for this video and printing of the game and getting it shipped out. So let's go back over there and talk about today's video. But before we go, why don't we give one to Caesar? This is what he is waiting for. Can you speak? Speak. What? There you go. Okay, now let's put the camera back. Well, what do you know? You give a fetch hound some milk bones and they just stick around. Anyhow, today's video, revised combat system. And then the next video will, of course, we'll wrap it up with the classic combat system. So let me just explain real quick. Consulting my notes that I had. Yeah, so we took a look at the minion combat. So no matter whatever combat system you're going to play with, revised combat system, classic combat system, you're always going to combat minions in the same manner as you saw. So that's what's nice about it. And it's a very fun combat system when you combat minions. But today we're going to talk about the revised combat system. And guys, it's very easy. And there was the reason that we have this revised combat system, and I totally get this. There were a lot of players who said, can we just get in there and roll some dice, just chuck some dice and use some, strategy and tactics. And that's exactly what the revised combat system is. It's a very simplified combat system. There's a little strategy and tactics, with your hero's special abilities and a few other things. But I was very happy to work on that and offer that to people. So yet another facet of Dungeon Crusade. You can choose how you would like to play. I actually debated on starting with the classic combat system, but I think we'll just go with revised and then we'll roll right into classic combat and wrap it up. So without further ado, let's get into this, and I think you're really going to enjoy this. And before we get into the revised combat system and going into the classic combat system, what I'm going to do is just take away the minion monster decks, because we already discussed that. You know what that is. So we're just going to take those out of there. And with taking those out of there, let's move this up a little bit. Let me explain something to you guys. The revised combat system and the classic combat system, that deals primarily with champion monsters and guardian monsters, okay? As you probably know from watching the videos, champion monsters reside in the chambers of the dungeon. And these monsters are usually safeguarding quest items. So let me grab something that I should have had. So looking at our champion monster deck, you can see it goes from level 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I know you've probably seen these tokens before. These are, excuse me, champion monster tokens. So we have level 1. I'm going to put that there. And these go in those chambers of those dungeon. They're of the chambers of the dungeon. Level 2 champion monster token. Level 3 champion monster token. And finally, a level 4 champion monster token. So always remember, those are in direct correlation with the champion monster deck. And like I said, champion monsters reside in the chambers of the dungeon. So they don't move, they don't, traverse through the dungeon. They stay in the chambers, and they're usually safeguarding quest items. Okay? And then talking still about our revised combat system, we're going to be combating guardians with the revised combat system and the classic combat system. So I just wanted to point that out. So just know, if anything, to sum this up, revised combat, classic combat system, you are going to be combating champion monsters and guardians with these combat systems. Lastly, right here is the combat chart, and this can be found on the Dungeon UI board. But you know what I think I'm going to do? I'm going to have a link where you could download just this little combat chart, and you can just print this out and use this if you want. However, with the revised combat system, you really don't need this. Okay, you don't need this, but in the classic combat system, you don't have to use this, but you'll see how this is used. But just know, when you're combating champion monsters and guardian monsters, there's always 3 phases of combat. Remember, on a monster card, there's those 3 of the 6 warfare types. So that's what this is here. You're going to have 3 phases of combat. Remember, with the minions, we just did the 1. They're, trash mobs. They're not proficient in all 3. However, champion monsters and guardian monsters are proficient at using all 3 of the warfare types they are proficient in. And just in case you are a new Crusader, I'm going to briefly touch on this, but I would highly recommend to check out some of the prior videos on the 6 warfare types. But of course, you're welcome to stay here and then go explore this. But it's very simple. like we said before, here's Physical Warfare, represented by the red Warfare dice, Ranged Warfare, blue Warfare dice, Arcane Warfare, green Warfare dice, Mythical Warfare, purple Warfare dice, Spiritual Warfare dice, and finally Chaos Warfare, represented by the black Warfare dice. Okay, and I stopped the camera for a moment because I just wanted to get a monster card just to show you what we were discussing. This is a level 4 champion monster. This is an elite because it has the gold star, and this is a Death Knight, and this is one hot tamale right here. Special ability, Breath of Death. You don't want to tangle with a level 4 elite. But what I was saying was, notice that every monster, champion, guardian, whatever, has 3 warfare types. So for example, our Death Knight here is versed in Arcane Warfare, right here, versed in Mythical Warfare, right here, and finally Physical Warfare. There's Physical Warfare there. So remember, champion monsters and guardians, when you're using the revised or the classic combat system, you're going to have to be combating them in 3 phases. And we're going to use the battle board again for our demos. And like I said, definitely for what you're seeing, and I got to put the links in there. I think I forgot last time. I loved Breath of Fire and Breath of Fire 2 on the Super Nintendo, another game called Persona. Think of that when you see these in action, or like if you saw the other one with the Star Wars reference. But the 3 phases are pictured like the combatants are going at it, and they're like hitting 3 different times. You know, they hit, maybe draw back, hit again, and hit again. So that's what to think of when you phase 1, 2, and 3 of combat. Okay, all right, let's get on with some demos here and show you what's going on. Okay, for our first demo here, we are in the Spider Lair quadrant of the dungeon, and Sir Brennus is in search of this Voodoo Doll for a quest. And before we go on, let me just give you a side note. As you may know, each time you play Dungeon Crusade, all of the quest items, the monsters, are randomized from game to game. So this will always change. And hopefully I can say this quick. We're on a level 1 quest. So there's a good chance a level 1 monster will show up. There's maybe a chance an empty chamber will show up, or there's a slight chance a level 2 monster could show up. Again, it's always randomized. So carrying over to level 2, I've said this many times, but I just want to let you guys know, in case you don't know, when you're working on level 2 quest, there's a good chance of a level 2 monster showing up, champion monster, a slight chance of a empty chamber, but also a slight chance of a level 3 champion monster. And finally, when you're working on level 3 quest, there's a good chance of level 3 monsters showing up, a slight chance of an empty chamber showing up, or discovering an empty chamber, and finally, there's a slight chance of a level 4 champion monster showing up in the chamber. So that's the nice thing about this game. Everything is completely randomized from game to game. Okay, so we're going to send Sir Brennus into this chamber here. Remember, he's looking for this quest item, and it's a Voodoo Doll. And we'll just take a quick look at his card, and we can see the 6 warfare types. He's very proficient in Physical Warfare, sort of good with Spiritual Warfare, and sort of good with Ranged Warfare. But you can see Mythical and Chaos he's not too hot in at all. For movement, he has a base movement of 2 with a roll of a d6. So let's generate some movement for Sir Brennus with a d6. Okay, that's a 4 with his base movement of 2. That's 6. So 1, 2, and remember something. It does not cost an action to open a door. It's just automatic. It just kind of happens. So he has plenty of movement to go into this chamber here. And remember the big rule. You can never reveal a quest item until that champion monster is slain. You have to leave it there. So we're going to reveal the champion monster token, and of course it is a level 1 champion monster. Let me get our level 1 champion monster deck, and let's draw and see what monster was residing in that chamber. Okay, we have our level 1 champion monster deck. We're going to flip this over, and I did set this up because I want to show you something. Cerbrenus has discovered there is a massive viper within this chamber. Look, consulting its warfare types, it is proficient in physical warfare, ranged warfare, and mythical warfare. And do remember, here's the silver star. When you see a silver star, that denotes it's a normal champion monster. And this is the origin stories I wrote for that monster. However, there's also elite monsters of the same type. That's denoted by the gold star, and they have nasty special abilities. Finally, in case you didn't see this before, and I would recommend taking these out of the deck when you are learning how to play. I think my camera tilted. There are some dual monster chamber cards, and I would recommend there's 2 in each of the champion monster decks. I would recommend removing these until you get acclimated to the game, and then maybe put 1 in and then the other 2. So, and I think my camera did tilt, sorry about that. So without further ado, let's go over to our battle board. Let's set this up, and let me teach you about the revised combat system. Okay, and before we get started, I thought of something. I think what we're going to do is we're going to make this a part 1 for revised combat and talk about the champion monsters, how to combat them, and then we'll wrap it up with a part 2 over revised combat with guardian monsters. That way I'm not throwing too much at you guys and the video's not too long. So we'll have some fun with this, with the champion monsters first. Now, taking a look at the monster card, and I'm using a door to hold that monster card up, so hopefully it stays up. There are those warfare types, like we discussed. There's physical warfare, red warfare dice. Next is ranged warfare with the ranged warfare dice. And finally, the last one is mythical warfare dice, okay? See how that is? And then if you watch the other videos, remember there's 2 values here, like looking at physical warfare. Right here, it says 13 and 1. And what that means is, real quickly, that our hero Cerbrenus on the red warfare dice has to score a 13 or higher to inflict damage. If he rolls 12 or under, then he's going to take 1 damage. That's how that works. You may already know that, but I just wanted to touch base with you on that. And remember, if you have any kind of gear, and actually the next video after combat will be over the 193 pieces of loot in the game. I'm looking forward to that one greatly. You can add, you know, what they're proficient in. So we could, with physical warfare, this is good for this massive viper. Cerbrenus is proficient in physical warfare, so we could add a +3 to those dice. However, with ranged, he can add a +1, but with mythical warfare, he's not too proficient. So he's going to have to deduct 2 off the mythical warfare dice. Again, if you followed the series, you already got that. So let me explain how to combat this champion monster. We're going to take, and this is the revised combat, remember, this is very, very easy. It goes a lot smoother and quicker, but I'm taking the time to explain it. Simply, you're going to take those warfare tokens, okay? Just give them a shuffle so you don't know where they are, and put them in a stack. Say it's right here. Okay, for phase 1, remember phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, here are our battle tokens. You put these on the weapon you're going to attack with. Don't worry about defend, we will get the defend. So we're going to be able to attack. Cerbrenus is equipped with his starting weapon, which is a longsword, so he's going to attack. He cannot add, when you see this symbol here, that's physical warfare +0, it's a starting weapon, so we can't add any type of bonuses or buffs to this. But if he does land a hit, he can do 1 damage. And I've said this before, people ask, what's the plus for? Quite simply, I just wanted a plus there on the cards. To be completely candid with you, I just like seeing +1. He can do +1 damage with this worn longsword. Okay. Start a combat, you can drink any potions, cast any special abilities you would like to use. Cerbrenus, again, he's level 1, just starting out, so he has nothing. Revised combat, all you're going to do, guys, flip over the top warfare token. It's going to be ranged warfare. What are we going to attack with? Well, we just have our worn longsword. Remember, you can dual wield weapons in Dungeon Crusade, but starting out, he just has his worn longsword. So I'm declaring for phase 1, I'm going to attack with the worn longsword. And this is where, look in the link and watch some Breath of Fire videos, and you'll see, kind of think of that when you watch this combat. So we're going to get the ranged warfare dice. Consulting his hero card, he does have a +1, so he's a little proficient. He can add a +1 to this roll. And looking at ranged warfare, that's only a 9. So hopefully he can land a hit. So picture he's kind of drawing back to go at this massive viper, and I don't think he landed a hit. 5 and 2, that's 7. You always add those together. And you know what? Cerberus isn't too lucky in the dungeon tonight. We can add a +1, that's an 8. Of course, that's lower than 9. Remember what happens, there's that 1. Cerberus is going to take a damage from that. See how that works? Very, very easy. And then what we're going to do is, when you're doing revised combat, clear the dice, the warfare type, take that off. The battle is going to commence. And next up, just reveal the next token. Great, physical warfare. Now we're definitely going to be able to land a hit because he has a +3 on his hero card. For phase 2, we're going to declare the worn longsword. I'm glad we're introducing these now, so it'll make actually more sense when we go into the classic combat system. So we're declaring for phase 2 that. So he draws back, and whoop, and I kind of killed him as a viper. 6, and that is a 4. Looking at the massive viper's stats, that was a 13. It was a very lucky roll actually, because we can add that +3 to that 10, 13. Remember, all you have to do is meet or exceed that, and we landed a hit. And you know what? I got to grab some damage tokens. I always forget to get those. Every time we're doing combat, I always forget to get those, so please forgive me. So remember, the weapon does 1 damage. We're going to put 1 damage on that. The massive viper, see the little heart down there? It has 3 health, so it has 2 health remaining. We're going to go on to phase 3. Let's clear this up. See guys, this is very simple. Then finally, we're going to reveal the last one, which is, of course, Mythical Warfare. Let's take a look at Mythical Warfare, and this is where Cerberus is not too hot. That's a -2. He has to land a hit with, that's an 11. That's going to be very, very tough. We're going to take our phase 3 battle token and put it there. And I have to tell you guys, even though I'm the creator, I love the combat system in this game, especially when fighting champion monsters, especially when you can rally up to 2 heroes. Quick side note, yes, you could rally up to 2 heroes to go in to help out. And we're going to be taking a look at that next. So what do we got to get here? We have to deduct 2 because he's not proficient in Mythical Warfare. That's an 11. Kind of draws back or runs up, draws back, and massive viper falls again. Unbelievable though. Check this out. This is why I love this game. And this revised combat system. That is a 12 and a 4. That is 16. That is a massive hit, and I think I'm gonna have to get something different for this. But anyway, even with deducting that 2, that brings that down to a 14. Cerberus has landed another hit. The massive viper only has 1 health left. Okay, so that is the end of round 1. We're done. Clear the warfare tokens, clear this. Now we're going to go to round 2. At this time, a hero can decide to evade out of the chamber if he does not want to fight that champion monster. But, and we'll get in that to another video, or I think we already discussed it, when you leave a champion monster alone in a chamber, that monster can start an incantation. There's an incantation track over on the dungeon UI board. If that incantation is fulfilled, a hex is placed over the village. You don't want a hex placed over the village. But you could see we almost have this massive viper. So we're definitely going to go into round 2. we're going to take those same warfare tokens, and we're going to go much quicker this time because you can see how this works. It's super easy. So we're going to give those a quick shuffle. Okay. Again, top of the round, special abilities. Do you want to quaff down a potion? Anything like that. Well, I got to come up with a better system, guys. Sorry about that. And phase 1. I was hoping that physical would come up so we could just finish this massive Viper off. But hopefully Sir Brennis has another huge hit. Phase 1, I'm going to declare the Worn Longsword. Let's grab the Physical Warfare dice, and hopefully for a huge hit. That was not a huge hit at all. 6 with a 1, pardon me, something just fell. 6 and a 1, well that's a 5 and a 1, that's 6, but deducting 2 off his hero card, that he is going to take another hit for that. Let's move this down. So he lost 2 health so far with the massive Viper. So we're going to put this, clear the dice. We're moving on to phase 2. And shoot, I was hoping for physical to come up. So we're going to take the phase 2 battle token, place that on the Worn Longsword. That's what we're going to attack with. So Sir Brennis kind of like runs up, hopefully gets a massive hit to kill this thing. And what do we have to get there? That is a 9. And we could add +1 to this from his hero card. He's proficient in this a little bit. So, and I think we got it. 9. Sir Brennis got it. 4. That's a 13 +1. Sir Brennis has killed the massive Viper. So we're going to go back to the chamber and look at the quest item. But first, let's do the loot and gold roll. And you saw this in the other video, but I love doing this. Let's see if Sir Brennis found anything. Okay, so let's clear all the damage markers. We'll keep those handy for our next battle because we're going to rally a hero. Let's clear that. Clear this and take this out. So remember, the loot and gold roll, this is the probability of this monster carrying something of value. And we'll go over this real quick. I know we chatted about this before. So notice this treasure chest here and the 18 plus and then a 13 plus with the gold coin that says 100. What you do is you're going to make one single roll on a d20. If you get those values, this will allow you to draw a loot card from the deck. If you get an 18 or higher, or if you get 13 or higher, that monster was carrying gold or carrying a piece of loot. And I think this is really fun loot system in the game. So we're going to, Sir Brennis right now is going to check this massive Viper for any loot or gold. Let's roll. And that is a, I don't believe it. What is that? 19. Well, definitely it was carrying a piece of loot. Let me get our loot deck. Why that went dark. Let's get 100 gold. I don't think, did we ever win a loot and gold roll before? I think we've had gold, but I don't know about loot. So we're going to take the massive stack of loot here. There's 193 pieces, and like I said, after we finish up the combat videos, we're going to be moving on to talking about all the different loot, and I think you guys will enjoy this. So let's just put it down right here so you can see. Cut it one more time. Sir Brennis searches the massive Viper, and he finds, not bad. Well, it's a white, it's a common jade ring. We can see the symbols right there. T1 stands for tier 1, so he could equip this. And this will give him a +2 to arcane warfare. So he could equip this right now, and what that's going to do is that's going to boost up his arcane warfare. I think it's on 0 right now if we look. Yeah, so he will be a little more proficient with arcane warfare. And just that's one of the most awesome things about this game. When you go to the village to buy new gear, you can spec out your heroes however you see fit. And I know Paul, I know you're watching Paul. Paul will, I think he said he had 100 games of Dungeon Crusade logged in. Thank you, Paul. I'm very grateful for that. I'm glad you enjoy it. But he can tell you there's just so many different ways to spec out your heroes in Dungeon Crusade. Okay guys, so that concludes this demo, and you can see the revised combat, that's what it is. Flip over those warfare tokens, roll some dice, cast some special abilities, maybe you'll run into a dual monster chamber. This is what this was designed for, just really quick, nice combat system to get you, in to keep playing Dungeon Crusade. Okay, I'm going to clear this up. We're going to do another demo, but Sir Brennis is going to rally a fellow hero into the dungeon. Actually, before we clear everything up, we had to go back to the chamber. Remember, Sir Brennis was in the spider lair, and he was looking for this Voodoo Doll. Here is the quest item right here. So now that the champion monster is slain, a hero is allowed to reveal that, and there it is. There is the Voodoo Doll, one of over 70 unique quest items in Dungeon Crusade. Freddie Lopez painted that. I said, we need a Voodoo Doll. He painted. I said, that is awesome. But remember, that's always randomized. Maybe, this is the blank one. You could go into that chamber and it's not the quest item. So you have to keep searching for that. And you're going to discover with the key system in the game, when you get further into the scenarios and the quest, there's going to be multiple zones where quest items could be residing. So again, always randomized every game. And I think you're really going to like this demo. And I always try to show you a lot about the game to show you what you're in store for. This is going to be a great demo. So let me set this up. As I've always said, one of the things that were paramount to me in creating Dungeon Crusade is true party building. Putting heroes together to build on each other's, weaknesses and strengths and create a great party of heroes. So case in point, we have Maheliak, our barbarian, and Zeke, our wizard. And I've used these guys before, and I know Paul and many other. These are two great heroes to pair up. So right now, they're on a quest to find the Ivory Key. There's 4 different keys in Dungeon Crusade. The Ivory Key will open up doors with blue bases, and you can see kind of right there. The other keys in the game are the Onyx Key. That will open up doors with red bases. The Golden Key will open up chamber doors with yellow bases. And finally, the Jade Key, you guessed it, will open up chamber doors with the green base. So they're on a quest to recover this magical crown. And it resides over in the Tomb of St. Viticus North, kind of like right where that blue door is. Hold on. There we go. So this area here, although they have to search over here in the Chamber of Kings South where the Ivory Key is. So right there, we can learn a little bit about the key system. So they're on a quest to try to find the Ivory Key to get into the chambers there. So that's what these two are going to do. And we're going to rally a hero. So in case you haven't seen that, we're going to do that. And then we're going to combat a champion monster. And you're going to see, definitely in this demo, you're going to see the benefits of true party building. Okay, so let's go down closer to the dungeon, but I did want to show you our 2 heroes we're going to be using. Zeke is going to be rallying Maheliak, and remember, a hero can rally up to 2 other heroes to go into a chamber or to fight a guardian monster. And lastly, remember Sir Brennis got the Jade Ring. Well, he was such a nice guy, he gave it to Zeke, because that will buff up Zeke's Arcane Warfare by +2. So he's going to be very proficient in Arcane Warfare. Okay, let's go down to the dungeon and get on with our demo. Okay, now we have a better view of the dungeon. So here is Zeke, our wizard, and Maheliak, our barbarian. They are in the Chamber of Kings South. And somewhere in one of these chambers resides the Ivory Key. Once they find that, they can head up here to the Tomb of St. Viticus North and unlock these chamber doors. And no, your barbarian cannot bash down a door that has one of these bases. You must locate the key to open those doors. Okay, so let's focus over here. Initiative tokens. If you watch the video series, remember our initiative tokens. I'm just kind of move you down here so you can see it. So in the upkeep phase, I decided to give initiative token 1 to Zeke because I want him to rally Maheliak, initiative token 2, because Zeke wants him to go into this chamber to look for this ivory key. So he's going to go in here. And Zeke knows better than to go in there, because remember, you don't know what champion monster could reside in there. It could be a dual it could be a dual monster chamber. It could be, they're on a level 1 quest, it could be a level 2 champion monster. So always consider that. So what we're going to do, first of all, is activate Zeke. And looking at his hero card, he has a base movement of 2 plus the roll of a d6. So we're going to move him into the chamber. Let's generate some movement. There's our d6. 1, that's perfect. So 1 and 2, that's 3. 1, remember, chamber doors is not an action to open. They just automatically open. 2, now the big roll, remember, you can't look at the quest item. Before that champion monster token is revealed, you have to declare, are you going to battle that champion monster, or do you want to rally a fellow hero? Like we discussed, we're going to rally Maheliak, and there's the rally. So he's kind of calling out to his comrade to come and assist him in this battle. When you rally a hero, it costs 1 essence. So we're going to pay the 1 essence. And essence is used, as you probably know, to use special abilities and for this right here, to rally, and you can burn 1 essence to gain 1 movement. You can do that as much as you like, as long as you have the essence to do so. So say he was like back here and he needed extra movement, he could burn, say, 3 essence to gain 3 movement. So just wanted to throw that in here. So Maheliak now, I'm not going to move the camera again. Maheliak has initiative token 2, and he says, sure, I'm going to come in there, I'll rally with you and we'll combat this monster. Actually, I'll move this. We're going to have to move it anyway. Just like Zeke and Sir Brennis, base movement of 2 plus the roll of a d6. So we're going to roll, generate some movement. 5, that's plenty. 1, 2, 3, 4 into the chamber. Okay, now chamber door closes. Now we can declare we're going to fight the champion monster, and we're going to reveal it. In this case, it is just another level 1. So we're going to go to our level 1 champion monster deck and draw. And I did want to set this up to show you something. So we're going to draw, and it is a Sister of the Faith. And I created a lot of factions for the game, and there's this evil religious cult called the Faith. And there's many different monsters in Dungeon Crusade that your heroes will come in contact with. So this is a Sister of the Faith, kind of an entry-level member of the Faith. Let's take a look at those warfare types. That's physical, spiritual, and chaos. Now consider something, and this is what I was leading up to. Suppose that Zeke went into that chamber by himself. Okay, take a look at his hero card. That Sister of the Faith, first of all, is very versed in physical warfare and chaos. If Zeke would have went in there on his own, take a look at this. -3 to physical warfare, -2 to chaos. He would do terrible in those 2 warfare types because he's not proficient. He has a +1 for spiritual, so he could add 1, but chances are it's going to be a tough battle. But we rallied Maheliak, and these 2 are great heroes to rally together. Maheliak is in there, so guess what? When those phases come up, and like how we flip those tokens, guess who's going to attack in physical warfare and chaos warfare? Maheliak. And then we'll have Zeke attack in spiritual warfare. So hopefully, if there's anything from this video, this is what I was really happy to do, and I think we accomplished something with that, is true party building. So our 2 heroes are in there. We're going to move over to our battle board, and let's get on with finding out if that is the ivory key. And you know what? I was going to read the origin stories for the other monster, but I like to leave those kind of like a surprise for you. So maybe with this one here, with our Sister of the Faith, and I have 2 doors holding her up. This is a normal version because of the silver star. And let's go over the origin story. I'd like to read this for you and kind of a little backstory on the faith. So origins, the house of the faith. Now that's located in Avalon. So if you look in the Avalon map, you'll actually see this location. A sister of the faith is a young human female who has been abducted by the evil cult known as the Faith. They are then tortured and brainwashed by this wicked cult to carry out many of the Faith's evil plans across Avalon. So as you play Dungeon Crusade and you run into higher level members of the Faith, you can kind of piece together what this evil cult is about. But I created tons of factions in the game, so there's just one of them right there, and I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit about the Faith and the Sister of the Faith. So let's go over these warfare types. We have physical warfare. I have the dice back here. We'll just keep those over here. Spiritual warfare, and finally chaos warfare. And just remember, if we would have sent Zeke in, this battle probably would not go as good. And she has a health of 4. So we definitely can't kill her in round 1. This is if we can get hits on every phase, we can put 3 damage on her. So let's see what happens here. And again, I hope you're enjoying this video. And again, it's so nice to be back with you guys. I love making these videos and hanging out and teaching you or getting you more acclimated to the game. So picture it again, like Breath of Fire. Look at those links in the description. Watch a little video. So our heroes are there. The Sister of the Faith is there, and they're getting ready to battle. Phase 1 is physical. Well, of course, I think you already know. They're kind of like talking. Picture the 2 heroes are talking, and Maheliak says, I will attack in phase 1 because I am proficient with a +2. So he's gonna picture like take the charge, and he is going to attack. So we could, I think my doors are working good. So he could add a +2 to this. We take the physical warfare dice, kind of like drawing back, and they're kind of going at it, and well, that was the highest roll. That was a monster hit. That's the highest you can get. That's 18 +2, that's a 20. And looking here, consulting that value, that's only 11. Maheliak has definitely put 1 damage on the Sister of the Faith. I really think of the Breath of Fire combat. So he kind of goes back. We're going to clear that. And you know what? I'm sorry. I meant to mention that he was attacking with his primordial axe. That's his only weapon right now. Starting weapon with that gray crystal, +1 damage. So that would have been, he was attacking with that. So please forgive me for that. Phase 1 is over. We're moving on to phase 2. Phase 2 is going to be chaos. Well, that's what he greatly excels at. He could add a +3 to this roll. So we're going to, again, for phase 2, declare his primordial axe. He's going to attack with this. We'll set that right there. So again, he runs up. This is my card slides. Again, take that out of the way. Chaos warfare dice. Hopefully we get another monster hit. Yes, a 12 and a 3. That's 15 +3. Right on his card, he's proficient in chaos warfare. Yeah, that's another massive hit. That's an 18, and that's a 13. So the Sister of the Faith is kind of strong with chaos warfare with the 13, but Maheliak lands another hit. She only has 2 health remaining. So we're gonna clear everything here, clear the dice, and hopefully you can see how quick this goes once you get into it. Finally, phase 3, well, we already know it's going to be spiritual warfare. We don't want Maheliak to attack. Notice he has a -2. Again, he's not proficient. Luckily, our wizard, Zeke, is here. He can add a +1 to this. So he's going to jump up and attack. He is going to attack with his oak staff for phase 3. And let's see, what is that value there for? That's a 10. So we can add a +1. So he draws back with his oak staff for, wow, Guys, look at that. 5 and 4 is a 9, plus his 1, and that is a 10. He just landed a hit with that. And actually here we can just, the game comes with like these 3 and 5, so we're just going to take these out here. And the heroes have successfully put 3 damage on the Sister of the Faith in that first round. So what we're going to do is we're going to clear this. We're going to go into phase 2, or round 2 of combat, I'm sorry. And we're going to get our warfare tokens and shuffle them. And again, remember, at this time, like at the top of a combat round, you could quaff a potion, use a special ability. And I think we're going to kill her in round 1. Hopefully Chaos Warfare comes up. So we'll flip it over, and it's spiritual. But that's okay. Zeke is confident he can land damage on her. So we're going to declare the Oak Staff for phase 1. He draws back with this Oak Staff. So basically we need a 9, right? Because he has that +1. And Caesar is crying to go out. Our Fetch Hound, that's only a 3. So no, Sister of the Faith damages Zeke for 1. So we'll take that down. Okay, so we go back. We're going to reset everything for the next phase. Clear that. Next phase, phase 2. Okay, Maheliac, of course we're going to attack with Maheliac. And what value is on that? That's an 11. But remember, he has a +2 because he's proficient in physical warfare. So I feel pretty good that he can take her out with a killing blow. So let's see. Draws back, runs in, and a absolutely freaking monster hit. 12 and 4, that's a 16 +2. He has killed the Sister of the Faith with that hit. Very awesome. Okay, guys, you know what's up. Loot and gold roll. And you know what, actually? Please forgive me. Life Force. Let me go get the loot deck and the Life Force, and let me explain that. And I'm sorry I didn't say that before. I will be right back for our loot and gold roll, and let me explain that for you. Okay, so real quick about Life Force, and I'm so sorry I missed that. I always try to remember everything for you guys. That green number there too, Life Force, think of XP. That's what I decided to call it, Life Force. This goes into a collective pool that all the heroes can draw from. You're going to use Life Force to level up your hero. You're going to use Life Force to get new special abilities from the academy in the village. And also, when we hit the loot deck, and we talk about that, there's 6 underworld artifacts. They're the most powerful and evil weapons in the game. And your hero, you got to make a decision if you want your hero to wield an underworld artifact, because you have to feed it with 1 Life Force, and there's a chance your hero's soul could be consumed by using an underworld artifact. But they are ridiculously powerful, and it's just cool to hear players chat about these controversial weapons. So there's different uses for Life Force. So forgive me, I forgot to say that. So when they killed what was that other one? It was the Massive Viper. I know that had 2. Well, that's a 5. Hold on 1 second. So it had 2. Yeah, there's different ones. There's Life Force with 1, 3, and 5. So there's the 2 from the other one, and of course there's the 2 from the Sister of the Faith. So in the collective pool, they actually have 4 Life Force. Let's take a look at our loot and gold roll now. And okay, so the odds are a little bit better with this. 17 plus for a piece of loot, and 8 plus for 100 gold. So let's take our trusty D20, since Maheliac landed the killing blow, and that's how you decide. Whoever lands the killing blow, they get to do the loot and gold roll, or you guys can decide who wants, if you kill a monster. So, and it was a 4. So now she wasn't carrying anything of value. And guys, that pretty much sums up the revised combat system for champion monsters. But remember, you could rally up to 1 more hero, and you may want to do that if you're going in definitely to like a level 3 or level 4 chamber with a level 3 or level 4 champion monster. And that's really as easy as the revised combat system is. Just real nice and quick for the people who wanted that. And again, I'm just very happy that we have this system, and as you'll be seeing, the classic combat system if you want more of a challenge and in-depth combat experience. Okay, so this is part 1. Let me pull the camera back, do some cleanup here, and close out our video. And actually, before we close this out, I thought we'd just go over those chambers to see where everything was at so you could see. So remember, they killed the champion monster in here, and we'd reveal the quest token, and it is a blank one. So we know that it is not there. The ivory key was over here, and it was being guarded by, oh, there goes, an empty chamber. And here was the ivory key right there. And again, the ivory key, once they have that, the heroes could open up the chamber doors over here. And we'll just take a look real quick. Another level 1 champion monster. And, oh, that was the one we used before. But, oh, see, there was a level 2 champion monster in this chamber. But there's the crown. So that's what they were looking for. So hopefully you can see how that little demo quest panned out. You know, the ivory key was here. They'd have to go here, search these chambers, open those doors, and they would find the crown residing in that chamber. So that's how that works. And you'll see some of the introductory quests and scenarios will have that, but then it gets where your heroes might have to search other areas. They get not complex, but kind of challenging to make your way through the dungeon to find those keys and to open up different chamber doors. Okay, now let's pull the camera back and wrap this up. And that wraps up part 1 on the revised combat system with how to combat champion monsters. And I hope that you enjoyed that. I thought this one had a nice flow to it. And like I said, I had a really fun time doing the little bit of combat there. And hopefully you learned a lot more about the game from that. So just kind of in a nutshell, revised combat, you just look at those 3 warfare types in a monster card, find those warfare tokens, give them a shuffle, reveal 1, who do you want to attack? Process that. Phase 2, flip that token, process that. Phase 3, boom. It's really that simple. But it'll be nice to show you now the classic combat system, you know, after the following video where we're going to go over the Guardian one. As we wrap up here, remember, Pledge Manager will be closing soon. I have to actually talk to our production engineer tonight over at the manufacturer, and I'm going to be talking again to the amazing support team manager at Pledge Manager. I was talking to him a lot last week. There were some people that had address changes and a few other things. So if you need anything, please let me know. I'm always in contact with them, and we'll make sure you get squared away. Okay, guys, I'm going to go and compile this. Scooter's crying outside, my other fetch hound. So on that note, I hope you guys have a great day. I love you guys. Thank you so much for your time, your interest, your excitement for the game, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned. I'm going to have the Guardian video up for you soon. We'll wrap up revised and go into the classic combat system. Have a great day, guys. Stay safe, and I'm going to be talking to you very soon. Bye-bye.